Well, I don't know if it's nice or not yet. Just give me a minute. It says I'm live. There I am. Hi. So this is Anna Imagination with the Healing Garden, and welcome to Shifting Perspectives. So I'm standing. I converted my desk into a standing desk because I have health problems. So let's try and figure this out here. I don't give a shit. So I am a philosopher, psychologist, sociologist of 30 years, and this is my laboratory. This is where I do my journals, my research, and this is the space where I sit down and I come up with epiphanies and go, oh my God, I need to think about this. And instead of journaling all this crap out, because I have a problem with paper and it's all over the place, I decided that this is just easier because I never, ever go back on my notes. I literally have notes back from 1995, boxes of all of my notes. And I've never, ever gone back on any of it. Except my dream journals. Those are funny. So I wanted to talk today about something that I call logical health, because this is unheard of. And it's something where you can't Google the shit because whatever. But it was something that's kind of formed. It's very much something, oh, this feels like a stage. Oh, this might be a little addictive for me to stand while I do this. So just warning you. So I'm at a point where, wow, I like the feel of this. I'm going to be standing from now on. I can tell you that. Okay, focus. Logical health is something that I dug out of the brain. It's when I was wandering around inside my subconscious mind, when I started going into other people's minds and figuring shit out. When I was doing all of that, I realized that part of 1/3 part of our health was actually contingent upon our logical health. And if you're not logical, you're going to have poor mental health as a result. So I started to do research on how much mental health is dependent upon logic and how much logical health is present. There is an emotion called cognitive dissonance. Very little is known about it. It is currently, this is one of my pet peeves, is misinformation on the internet. And psychologists should know better. And yet they are one of the biggest culprits. So Psychology Today, this is like last week, released an article. There is no cure to cognitive dissonance. If one more fucking psychologist gaslights, like of all the people in the world who know better. And I think that's why I'm so angry with psychologists, is because they gaslight a lot. And I'm going, of all the people in the world, you know better. Like everybody else can be ignorant, and I forgive you. But a psychologist knows better. So here's the psychologist writing this article, there is no cure. And I'm going, whoa, that's bias. And that reveals how ignorant you are. And they do this with mental illness. This is what I see a lot of. And they did this to me. I walked into therapy and on day one, and I know why. So I'll give you the reason. The theory is they did not want me to have unrealistic expectations. So I couldn't sue them. They did not want me to go in there and they say, this is curable, and then they not cure it, and then I can sue them. That's why. So they feel avoidant and doing the exact polar opposite to say there is no cure for mental illness that we know of. And that really is a big deal. When there was no cure for cancer, every scientist was very careful to say there is no cure yet, or there is no cure for cancer that we know of. And they were busting their butts trying to find the cure. They have found the cure a long time ago, and pharmaceuticals are keeping it away from us. So it's this ridiculous, like, to be that reputable, to have that much power and authority and expertise, and then to say something as stupid as there is no cure. Like, you don't know. Now, ironically, I had just done a whole lot of research on cognitive dissonance. Cognitive dissonance is not an emotion that a psychologist can understand because it's logic. You have to be a logician to understand cognitive dissonance. Now, all pain comes from cognitive dissonance. All pain comes from cognitive dissonance. It is somehow sourced from cognitive dissonance. There's no other, all pain comes from cognitive dissonance. And then other emotions like fear evolves to keep you away from cognitive dissonance. And then other emotions like guilt are created to keep you away from cognitive dissonance. But when you have pain, and this was something when I had borderline, hold on a minute, I want my coffee. When I had borderline personality disorder, they had it was perplexing to me because I just hurt. I emotionally was in pain. And I couldn't sit there and point to any part of my body. I was just in emotional pain. And I would ask my therapists, like, what is this? Why? What is hurting? And they were like, well, it's your emotions. No, my emotions are not hurting. What is hurting? Why am I in pain? Why does my chest hurt? Why does my brain hurt? And I started to do like, is this a tightening in the chest? What is this? No, it was not a tightening in the chest. It was literally dichotomy and contradiction. And this is why I think the fourth perspectives are so gun-ho on their rules and controlling, is because they have such an aversion to the pain of cognitive dissonance that they want everything to make sense and be logical. So they have illogical, incorrect rules and laws in their head. And now they're trying to uphold and make sure everyone obeys all of these rules and laws. But the rules and laws that are currently in our law books are literally, well, I'll be blunt, they're for white men only. Bottom line, they're for white men only. So everyone else is breaking them left and right because they're not for us. They're for white man. So if you're not a white man, you're in trouble. And then they pull out these statistics. Look, everyone but white men are having these problems. Well, no fucking shit, because the law books are favoring the white man. The law books are wrong. And as a result, now we're in a society where everybody else is going, this isn't okay. Things need to change. What needs to change are the law books, because the law books are wrong. The law books are absolutely, they're ridiculous. They are fucking stupid. A case in point, go back and look at the bowling laws in New York State. I mean, come on. Fucking stupid. I remember this one moment in 1776. They're going over the Declaration of Independence, and they're pulling it apart and they're critiquing it. And they're pulling out parts of it left and right. They're removing lines. They're ripping it apart. And this one gentleman, it was one of the last things that they decided to rip apart. And one of the gentlemen proposed, nowhere do you mention fishing rights. And in the musical, John Adams is like, oh, good God, like fishing rights, really? And it's really fucking stupid. And it's logical health. Logical health is your cognitive dissonance. It's your cognitive core. It's your personal logic. It's what you love, your ethics, what you value, what you believe. It's all of those things that accumulate. And then through accumulation, it leads to your personal truth. And then you have people who come along and tell you you can't have what you love. So it rips a part out of your logic. It literally takes a piece out of your logic. Or they punish you for being the way you are. They take a piece out of your logic. Suddenly you have holes in your logic. Or you have trauma associated with pieces of your own logic. So that when you're finally 15, 20 years old, you don't know who you are because they've ripped you apart. They've ripped your logic apart. But a person's behavior, their world, their reality, their truth, all revolves around their logic. And no matter how much anyone wants it, you cannot force your own logic into another person. That's perspective abuse. That's going to guarantee mental illness. And this is how I explain it to people is you have 8 million data points in your system that are accumulated through all of your life experiences and everything you've been through and everything you are. And those 8 million data points are in your system accumulating a logical deduction. That is your personal logic. And when you're all done and said, you have a logical truth. Now, if you meet somebody, you don't have the ability to hand this person all 8 million data points. They are going to have to take your word for it that it is your personal truth. And if they love you, they will work hard to preserve your personal truth, because your personal truth is 100% contingent upon your reality. Reverse that. Your reality is contingent upon that personal truth. It is vital It is absolutely detriment to your function. To take it away, to hide it, to do anything with it is to take away your ability to function, your ability to do anything. And we see employers doing this to their employees and then complaining about why their performance is low. We see parents doing this to their children and then wondering why their children don't obey. We have spouses doing it to each other and then wondering why their spouses aren't supportive and loving. Well, this is why. It's because you have chipped away at pieces of their reality, or they have chipped away at pieces of yours. And it's pure misunderstanding and ignorance. And really, that is how I see the world. Is I'm going, wow, everyone's just really, really ignorant because they're not aware of this, because we lost this knowledge, and no one studies philosophy. So when you start taking into account logical health, and that is the logical makeup of your personality, of your truth, of who you are and your identity, this is your logical truth. This is your logical health. And it's not emotional. Emotions are 100% a byproduct of your logical health because emotions are logical. Emotions are very logical. And when you are not taking care of your logical health, your emotions are going to let you know, hey, this is what's going on. You need to do something about this. But no one studies logic. No one understands logic. And as well, I mean, lots of people do, but they don't comprehend that it needs to be applied to their mental health, that their mental health is actually logical health. And then you've got your energy health, your spiritual health. Now, I am a firm believer that energy health is 100% contingent upon your emotional health because emotions generate energy. Lots of physics that backs that up. And also, your energy health is based off of what you want and what you believe, which are both emotions. What you want is a desire, and that produces an emotion. So there is energy health all over the place. And if you have something going on with your logic where you are being denied, where you are not allowed, where you are being controlled, you're going to produce negative and very toxic emotions. You're going to have an emotional mindset, an emotional mental mindset that creates a toxic environment for you. And that is going to produce really bad energy, negative energy. And as a result, your energy health is going to suffer. You're going to have blocked chakras. You're going to have a lack of energy flow through your body. And there is this back ass words concept that you're going to bully your subconscious mind into submission with meditation or positive affirmations. And you might be able to successfully suppress your submission or your subconscious mind into submission, but that's bullying. It's not healthy. And at the end of the day, you are still bullying your subconscious mind into submission with positive affirmations, which is why some people get really upset when they're like, why are you telling me to chill out? Why are you telling me that I need to calm down? Why are you telling me and to be happy? And it's because they're bullying. They are trying to force. It is non-consensual forcing of submission. And you can't do that to the subconscious mind because the subconscious mind reads that kind of data and goes, oh my God, it's not safe. Awaken the fear system. And that's the consequence. So yeah, you might successfully, for a time being, turn things around. I see this all the time where people are like, I don't understand in the middle of their breakdown. I thought I took care of this. You thought you took care of it, did you? Really? You mean you bullied your subconscious mind into submission and you suppressed the problem and you thought you took care of it? And it's not anyone's fault. It's just how stupid our society is because some dipshit somewhere said, let's make everyone stupider. So everyone's stupider. And as a result, we've got all the problems to show for it now. And it's constantly coming back to if you read a book, if you get smarter, if you learn about logic, if you apply logic to your basic life, and this is not something anyone can just figure out because it is so abstract. We've been given these massive amounts of red herrings. And that is what I view the psychology field today is a massive red herring. I think that's why I'm so angry, is because I'm watching the people who should know better literally lead the entire world around by a red herring. And everyone is doing the lemming dance following the red herring of a bunch of idiots who should know better. And the education system in this country is so stupidly bad that the smartest people, psychologists, are fucking this up. So I'm looking at it going, Alcoholics Anonymous has an 12% success rate, right? Is that good enough for you? Because it's not good enough for me. But is anyone asking why? No, because they dumbed us down and made us stupid. And it keeps coming back to our education system. It keeps coming back to a bunch of people resisting education. I'm 18 now. I don't have to read any more books. I'm 18 now. I don't have to educate myself anymore. And I'm just sitting here going, what are you doing? And here's the real kicker is they have made the universities are in on it. And that's really it is the universities are part of the problem. The pharmaceuticals are part of the problem. The psychologists are part of the problem. The government is part of the problem. And there's no one who's trying to actually figure this out because I'm at a point where this is another one of those things that I'm really just, I think I just need to do an angry podcast where I just vent and bitch. I think that's it, is the angry bitch. You know what? I think I'm going to have a podcast called The Angry Bitch. I love that. And I just need to look, I'm an angry bitch because what I see is so logical and so simple and so obvious. And it's not common knowledge. I know it's not common knowledge, but for me, it's common knowledge because for me, it's like, oh my God, how is no one else seeing this? It's so easy. It's so simple. And yeah, I know that was a gaslight. It's so simple. It's so like, it's mind blowing for me. And I'm just like, and that's where I came up with my whole, okay, that's logical insanity. And I'm going to put that over there. I used to be, I got off of Facebook. I finally did it. I finally congratulate me. Yeah, I finally just got off of Facebook. I couldn't do it anymore. I have like 2,000 to 3,000 people total following me on Facebook. And I just went, I can't. So on December 1st, I turned it off. I went on today for like 30 minutes to put someone else and put someone in charge of my Facebook accounts. And I just went, I got to get out of this. So December 1st, I didn't shut them down, but I walked away. And when I walked away, I had this moment of just, oh, wow, that's a huge stress off of my shoulders. And now I feel cleansed. I feel free. And today I went back into my Facebook accounts and I felt the anxiety come right back. It bombarded me and I went, oh my God. The comments, when I see 20 plus comments and then I look through and it's just a bunch of garbage about other people talking about garbage shit, it just, Facebook is really bad for me. So I got out of it. I'm now on TikTok and I love TikTok. TikTok makes me happy. TikTok makes me so happy. So yeah, I got off of Facebook and because of the amount of followers I have, I'm going, yeah, I don't want to sync it, but I don't want to touch it. So I have somebody who's coming in and she's taking it all over and she's thrilled. And I'm like, great, you are doing what you want. I'm doing what I want. And I don't have to touch that nightmare again. So the reason why I say this is because on Facebook, I used to follow like 80 different groups, all light workers, all thousands of people. Oh, I want to save the world. I want to do world peace. And it was groups all going, let's brainstorm ideas. And then people would go in and then they would share Akashic record information and that's it. And I'm going, really? You want world peace and your idea is sharing a bunch of memes? If you want world peace, you need to organize world peace better than the warmongers can organize war. Bottom line, if you want world peace, you need to get so much better at organizing than they are at organizing war. Fortunately, I am, and I do. So I got connected to this person, and they're like, oh, I've got someone for you. They're forming a group. They're going to brainstorm ideas. All right, I'll talk to her. And all she could say was, join my group. The last thing this world needs is one more group brainstorming ideas where everyone just shares memes. When I tell you, and we told her, I have a plan and it's already in place. Like she said, no, just join the group. Right. Okay. So I'm really, really happy to finally be done with Facebook. That was like a whole done with that shit. I think I really want to do the angry bitch. I really want to do that. Yeah, the angry bitch. I love that. The angry bitch. I need to do that because this is just who I am gonna. It's who I have to be for a while, and I don't know why. And I think it is because I'm angry. Why am I angry? And people are like, oh, you need to solve your anger problems. No, I don't. I don't have an anger problem. I have a bunch of people are stupid problem. That's not an anger problem. Are they affecting me? Yeah, they're fucking affecting me. They are affecting the system. They are affecting people I love. They are affecting everybody. Yeah, I'm the one cleaning up the fucking mess from stupidity. So yeah, it's personal. When I have people I love crying and breaking down because of the trauma, because of someone being so fucking stupid, because the society decided not to teach psychology and philosophy to children. Instead, they took away the art and made them stupider. So those people go on to be more angry and more aggressive and more hateful. And then I'm the one cleaning up these poor people because of the amount of abuse. Yeah, fucking pissed. Yeah, you know what? I think I'm going to be with my anger for a while because maybe that's the energy momentum that I need to say, hey guys, wake the fuck up. And it's not you, it's we need to become aware of what the problem is, not talk about it, not blame. Good God, stop blaming. No more blaming. You want to know whose fault it is? It's everybody's fault. It's mine, it's yours, it's everybody's. Now that we're done with the blame, can we fix the problem? Yes, I'm going to be the angry bitch. Yes, I like this, the angry philosopher, the angry bitch. Yeah, I'll come up with something catchy if the angry bitch doesn't. First, I have to Google the angry bitch to see if it's out there because I don't want to be a hack. Yeah, instead of fighting my anger, and I need to just let it be. Let it be. Yeah, yeah. I just need to let it be. I'm going to let it be. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to be the angry bitch. And yeah, I'm holding psychologists at a stupidly high standard because I'm going, what the fuck? You guys are sitting there claiming you're experts. Then why is everyone broken? Any day now. Any day. The first thing I do is I use the word victim. I use it openly and bluntly. Do you know what a victim is? It's a sufferer. It's a sufferer. I think the dumbest thing psychologists did was take away the word victim from our vocabulary. I openly say victim. And I watched my case study say, you're not supposed to say that. Let's talk about that. Why not? Because the narcissist who abused me doesn't like to hear that word. She says, I'm victimizing myself. Oh, you mean the person who's abusing you doesn't like to be reminded that you're being abused? Interesting. Very interesting. I said, do you know what a victim is? And she said, no. Let's look it up in the dictionary. And one of the definitions is very simply a sufferer. This victim mindset is ass fucking backwards. It is the concept of, and this is the disgust. This is something that psychologists thought of on purpose from the top to keep you submissive, to keep you broken. I'm going to show you how this works. When you find a properly strategic word and you implant it into our system, things change very, very quickly. It starts with, don't use the word victim because people will never take responsibility. Oh, that's not true. People don't take responsibility because they're not accountable, because they're not fifth perspective. But okay, let's go with this. They don't want people to use the word victim because then they'll feel sorry for themselves. Let me tell you what happens when you feel sorry for yourself. You get fucking angry and then you start using boundaries. Then you heal. So they don't want you to go through the healing process. So they deliberately take away the word victim from you so you don't go through the healing process, because the healing process requires emotional pathways. I figured out the emotional pathways, and every emotional pathway requires anger and self-pity and, oh my God, poor me. Because yeah, Poor fucking you. It's called self-empathy, and you're going to need it to heal properly. But by using the word victim, you're going to get that exact thing. You are going to get to that point. When you say, I am a victim, it is saying they did this to me. And psychologists say, oh, no, don't say that. It wasn't done to you. It was, oh, shut the fuck up. If you had the answers, everyone wouldn't be broken. Yeah, sometimes abuse happens to you. And sometimes abuse happens with you. And sometimes abuse happens for you. And sometimes abuse happens because of you. And they're focusing so much on the word to is fucking bullshit. Oh no, definitely doing the angry bitch. I need to do the angry bitch. I think I just need to vent and bitch about everything wrong with psychologists because of everybody here, they fucking know better. So now I'm looking at those guys going, are you doing it on purpose? Are you doing it on purpose? Now, I'll be the first to tell you, there are psychologists who are working in the troughs, and I commend those because they are the ones who really, truly do just want to help people. They really do. And they are trying to figure out the best way to do it. And 50% of the people who go into the field quit because it's that fucking dirty. I call this dirty psychology. And then, yeah, that's it. The angry bitch talks about dirty psychology. And it's like the ultimate abuser is the psychologists, is the people. Do you know that they turned the power of locking people up without any kind of recovery, without any kind of anything to psychologists, so that if a psychologist decides, they can walk and go, you're insane, you need to be locked up, done. No one should have that kind of power. I know this one case that I've been watching. I'm still following it. And he was 15 years old, maybe 17, and he committed a basic armed robbery. His attorney advised him to go with the insanity plea. Well, they won the case. He got his insanity plea. And instead of doing 5 years in prison, he has done a lifetime in a mental ward. And he cannot get out because there's no parole in mental wards. There's nothing wrong. He has told his case 1,000,000 times. He's now 55, 60 years old, and he still is talking to people, still trying to get out. And now they've got, oh, well, that's schizophrenic tendencies. Oh, well, that's no. And so many people have talked to him and they're like, he's perfectly fine. But because one psychologist decided to say, oh, you're insane, lifetime sentence. And now they are diagnosing a perfectly normal human being for no reason. No one should have that type of power. That is more powerful than a judge. That is more powerful than a police officer. That is more powerful than the president of the United States. Think about it. And these are the people who run the country. That if they say, then something doesn't go. And I'm just looking at it all going, are you doing it on purpose? Because you're experts on human behavior and everyone's broken and you're in charge. What's going on? Like, what's really going on? And then I've got people who come to me and they're saying to me right openly, I don't trust my therapist. I have a gut feeling and I just don't trust him. And I say, you shouldn't. Because if you say the right words and the wrong words and the right combination, they do diagnose you and lock you up with things that they tell you have no cure. And then they put you on some pretty fucking powerful medication for the rest of your life. And then you feel more fucked up. You lose more of yourself. Yeah, you shouldn't trust them. You should go with your instinct. I don't think anyone is ever as mentally ill as we are convinced we are. Not at all. In fact, this is interesting. It is the condition called psychosomatic symptom. Watch this. It is psychosomatic, what, my pen won't work. Psychosomatic symptom. And then mob mentality. And then placebo effect. Those are your three cocktails. Psychosomatic symptoms, mob mentality, and placebo effect. Those are three conditions that are substantial in evidence to prove to us that when you provide somebody with a conclusion from a professional, they are going to develop whatever symptoms those conditions reflect only because you think you've got it. It is like the ultimate form of belief. You believe it and you will become it. Placebo effect, psychosomatic symptoms, and mob mentality say so. You don't think manifestation exists? Placebo effect, psychosomatic symptoms, and mob mentality would disagree. Oh, and there's also mass hysteria. So there's 4 conditions. Mass hysteria is the other one. 4 conditions that 100% prove that your subconscious mind, all it needs to do is believe it. Now, you walk into a therapist's office and they give you 5 diagnoses and tell you it's incurable. They tell you, oh, here's all the evidence that you're insane and there's no cure. You're going to have to be on medication all your life. How do you think your brain's going to take that information? Oh, I'm insane. Well, then juice it up. And it does. It absolutely does. So I have an opposite effect. When people come to me, first of all, I need to say, I believe this. I'm not saying this just to flout it out there. I believe it. When people come to my office, I say to them, there's nothing wrong with you. We're going to start that right off. And my first session is always dumbfounded belief. What? Yeah, there's nothing wrong with you. Well, I've got this. Have you been abused? Yeah. Well, yeah, I would say that I would react the same way. Now, were you not abused? If you weren't abused and you're behaving that way, I would say that that's pretty crazy. But if you are abused, if you were abused, I don't see anything wrong with you. I see you responding in defense to a really fucking horrible situation. There's nothing wrong with me? No, there's nothing wrong with you. You have behavioral defenses because someone treated you like fucking shit. We live in a society that's literally conditioned and developed and designed to enslave us, manipulate us, where anyone can walk around and literally shit on another human being while your parents are ripping apart your own perspective, questioning your own ability to assess basic reality. Have you studied philosophy to figure out what exactly happens to the human mind if they don't know what reality is? That is called existentialism, and I know what happens. So yeah, it's really important that we know what reality is. It's really important that we know who we are and where we are, because existentialism says so. But these dipshits up at the top have never studied philosophy or existentialism, so they don't know. So they're walking around telling a bunch of people, oh yeah, you're mentally ill, you're sick, you've got mental diseases, you've got these conditions. What the fuck are you doing? You have master's and doctorate's degrees in psychology, and you think it's a good idea to tell a subconscious mind what their symptoms are, that they have symptoms, that they have problems, knowing that placebo effect, mass hysteria, psychosomatic symptoms, and mob mentality do exist? What the fuck are you doing? Did you study psychology, or are you just a fucking dipshit? Because the last thing you should ever do is tell a subconscious mind that it's insane. Because then the subconscious mind, placebo effect, will go, oh, I gotta be crazy. One of my case studies, when I did this, literally within like 3 hours, there was no signs at all of any mental illness. 0. A week later, she acted like a normal human being. 1 more week, and she was like, oh my God, I don't have this anymore. I don't have this anymore. I don't have this anymore. There's nothing wrong with you. Somebody somewhere told you that there was something wrong, so you had to think it. And here's the fucking kicker. Usually it's our abusers. The first time someone called me insane, I was 4 years old. 4 years old, I was told crazy. I have been called crazy since I was 4. So by the time I was 16 and 17, hearing you're insane, you're crazy, that's all, that was my name, was crazy. You think I'm fucking crazy? And now at that time, I could see the dimensions and I was playing in them. And I was also studying existentialism and philosophy and metaphysics. And I'm looking at these subjects going, metaphysics, dimension theory. I'm pretty sure that that's it. And I'm going to play with it. And if I want to be a mermaid, well, damn it, I'm going to be a mermaid. And I was a mermaid. I am a mermaid. And I did all of these things. And I was all of these things. And I had all of these fucking dipshits calling me crazy. And in my head, I said, no, you misunderstand me. And you never fucking bothered to get to know me. And that's the antidote. That's the antidote right there. When someone calls you crazy, it's, no, you don't understand me. Because not one fucking person here has bothered to get to know me. And if you don't bother to get to know me, what the fuck are you doing? How dare you meet me in 2 seconds, do your inductive reasoning where you observe, and then you make your own fucking conclusions based off of the fact that you are an asshat. Like, what the fuck? So really, and this is what I really want you to impart with. When somebody calls you a name, reflect on how much of an asshat they are. That they have just observed you. They've not bothered to get to know you. They've done nothing to learn about you, but they're going to judge you? Logical health. Logical health. I need to start teaching logic classes. Logic classes. Logic 101. I think I'm going to. It's also, you have to understand positive and negatives, which is just physics and energy. And yeah, it is just. It's pretty damn easy. It is fucking easy. The word easy and hard. The word easy and hard, in my opinion, is learnable and not learnable. And if something is easy, it's because you've learned it in the right order. When it's hard, you're just learning it out of order. That's all. If it's hard to build a business, it's because you're building it in the wrong order. If it's hard for you to write a book, it's because you're doing it in the wrong order. When you do it in the right order, it's easy. So when something's hard, well, actually, it's one of two things. Either you're doing it in the wrong order, or the universe is going, you don't really want to do that, do you? There's something else you should be doing. There's something else you want to be doing, but it's not this. So I'm going to make it hard for you because you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing. And what you are supposed to be doing is being happy and doing what you want. It's fucking hard going to work every day to a job you fucking hate so somebody can treat you like shit and take a fraction of what's earned to you. That's hard. This whole choose your hard? No. How about if you choose easy? Because easy just means you're learning it in the right order. You're doing it in the right order. It's just not organized. That's all life is. Either it's organized or it's not. For instance, you want to build a business? Trust me, believe me on this one. You want to build a business? Try. Because there's an orderly and organized way to do it and an unorganized way to do it. Most people don't have the answer. So it's fucking chaos. And it's hard as fuck because it's chaos. It's chaos because the 9-to-5ers don't want you to do that. They want you to stay employed by them. So they purposely scatter this information all over. The universities purposely teach you the wrong shit. So when you fucking go out into the world to try and build your own CEO, you can't because it's organized slop. And you've got to figure out and sort through the chaos. It's one of the things that I did with my shit where I organized it all and I went, oh, it's building a fire. Here's the answer. It's building a fire. 7 steps, and I'll just give it to you right now. This isn't triadic healing. I'm just going to give it to you right now. If you want to build a business, there's 7 steps. Do not focus on your messaging. Do not focus on your marketing. 7 steps. Here they are. The first thing you want to do is basically accumulate your resources. This is, what do you want to do? Who do you want to serve? What makes you happy? What makes people happy? I strongly recommend the book, What Color is Your Parachute? I do not see it here, but it's called What Color is Your Parachute? And I strongly recommend that book for you. Now, you do not have to read the whole book. There is a graph, a flower inside of this. It's a flower diagram. All you need to do is the flower diagram. That's stage 1. The flower diagram in the book, What Color is Your Parachute? That's all you need. It's extraordinary. I literally just did the flower diagram and I did not read any else of this book. So the first thing you do after that is step 1, you accumulate all of your kindling and supplies. You are literally accumulating your resources. Your resources are information. What do you want to do? Who do you want to help? What dreams do you want to make for people? I'm going to say that again. What dreams? Because that's what you are. Every time you open up a business, you are a dream giver. Ooh, I love that. It's like Moon River kind of shit. Dream giver, wider than a mile. That's awesome shit. You are a dream giver. So, what dreams for people do you want to give? The next thing you want to do is ask what obstacles are in their way that you want to solve. That's it. Dream giver, what obstacles do you want to solve for people? And that's it. The flip side of all of that is you got it all together now. You got your goal, you've got your heading, your destination. The next question is, what kind of people are these people who have these dreams? Now, here's the hard part. It's going to be you. You are literally the dreams that you connect with, and the obstacles in your way is literally a mirror of you. Your niche is you. And there's a lot of people out there going, well, I want this. I trust me, it's you. It is you, because you can relate to them, because you are one of them, because you overcame that same thing, which is why that's your goal and your desire. That's it. Once you have all of your resources together, the second stage is making your business plan. Now, it's not a business plan like what you Google. The business plan is, how are you going to get this done? Your how is, what are you going to do? Where are you going to do it? As in online, virtual, all that jazz. When are you going to get this done? The when is important. Make sure you have a goal and a destination. Who do you serve? And then it's deciding, this is where you start to set up the wood. And this is where you set up the pieces. This is where you build the website. This is where, and start with just a website. Personally, I say start with just a Linktree account. Linktree is fucking easy. And what I did at first was I had Google Docs and then I had Linktree. So I would have a Google Doc and I would have a forum and I would plug it right in. And then the third one is igniting. Now, igniting is where it gets tricky. There's two methods you can go. Now, everyone tells you got to get a funnel. You got to shut the fuck up. This is what you need. You need one of two options. The goal is, imagine you live in this really old little town 3,000 years ago. You need to let everybody at market know that you've got your own little booth now. And the only way to do this is one of two methods. You can paper train the whole thing. You can walk around meeting people and announcing, literally think of a political campaign. It is the exact same thing. That is networking. It is a political campaign. It is going out there, getting on a stage, shaking hands, meeting people. If you have social anxiety, this is going to be a problem for you. Bottom line, this is where you can shortcut this with marketing and funnels and ads. However, be aware that those methods in most cases is dirty sales. It's pushy. In most cases, it plays off of their fears and their pains. That's not ethical. If you want to do it that way, there's more than substantial information online for you to figure that out. If you want to do it ethically, this is how I do ethical sales. I create an event. It's purpose. They talk about value all over the fucking place. And that's where you run around chasing their red herring. Oh, well, you got to boost up the value. And the problem with boosting up the value, like everyone out there says, is it's like putting meal inside of a meat patty and then trying to tell people that it's 100% meat. And you're inflating value that it actually isn't there. And that is easily one of the most dirty psychological tactics I've seen in marketing. If you create an event and you give purpose to the event, purpose is what drives it, not value, purpose. Now, my purpose with my events is it's all community driven. So create an event that all has one purpose and then bring people together. And then instead of them saying, oh, I want your email address, or, oh, I want this. Well, what are you selling? I can solve your problems. Instead of selling to them, you can say, hey, I'm hosting this event. It's going to be fun. It's like a carnival. It really is. My events are like a carnival, but build it up like a carnival. We're going to have games. We're going to have prizes. We're going to have like coloring classrooms for adults. We're going to do field trips. It's fun. And I'm going to have all of these healing resources. And that's what you build up, is the event with purpose. Once you have that, now you've got people coming to your event on purpose. Now you've got someone making a connection. And I cannot tell you enough how event producing is a huge part of this. This is extraordinary. It's like, imagine this here is when, if you were to open a shop, usually you have like a grand opening event. Well, guess what? That's an event. But people don't think about that. You have a 1-year anniversary event. That's an event. Some people go all out and they have like food buffets, or they have free things, and they don't know it. They call it a promo anniversary. It's actually an event. They call it a marketing campaign. It's an event. It's an event. And events always drive business. So open an event. That's how I launched Brain to Books and kept it going, is I had an event. And then I didn't fluff it with value. I actually filled it with really awesome shit. Shit that people wanted. So there you go. And then people came to the event because they all wanted to go to the party. So it was an online event with a goal. My events are all healing based. So if you have, pick whatever topic you have, that's your event, but host events. And then that gives you the opportunity of meeting everybody. Now you're networking. Now you're socializing. Now you're connecting with people. While you're there, give a speech, give a talk. Look at that. You have your own stage and you have your own audience. And you are giving them valuable information so they can see what it is you're doing. And they can see, oh my God, this person has significant value. And now they're going to reach out on their own accord. So I cannot emphasize this enough. That event does everything. Absolutely does everything. They say like, oh, do this masterclass, do this. And I was chasing so many red herrings. But you have to keep in mind the big picture. Mind you, this is just igniting the spark. A lot of people focus on building a bonfire, but they can't even get a spark going. That was my problem for a while. And that's where I was chasing a lot of red herrings. And then there's people, did this too, where you scatter all of your energy over all levels of building the fire. Well, I've got my resources and I'm doing this. And so I had all 7 features, all pouring all of my energy. So it was scattered and I was getting no results. I had to condense them all into one area. Hey, I'm at level 4. I need to stay on level 4. I need to focus on level 4. Now, my insecurity with I have to have everything prepared and planned and ready to go because I am a chess player. So I'm like forward thinking. So I spent the last year forward thinking, building from the dream down, putting everything in place. So now everything is stable, solid, and built. Now it's stabilizing, nurturing, growing. So then when it goes to the next stage, it's going to be easy peasy, stable, nurturing, growing. You can do it that way too. But there are 7 stages. After you get the spark, you need to stabilize the spark. That's when you get consistent sales. That is your stabilizing of the spark. And that's where you nurture it. That's where you grow it. That's where you make sure that it's stable. That way, if you step away from it, it doesn't go out. And then you grow it. When you grow it, that's when you can expand it to a different size. That's when you sit back and you start throwing one log on the fire, and then you can enjoy it. The fire, when you can finally step back and just enjoy it, that's when the money rolls in. And that's where you just throw a log on the fire and you maintain it. And then you bank the coals. Or you can make it bigger and say, hey, I'm going to make this into a bigger fire. That's when you grow it up. But when you grow it from whatever point it's at to a bigger fire, it's going to be a lot easier than igniting that initial spark. So that initial spark really needs to be focused heavy on event producing, where you are providing purpose with value. But the purpose is always overlooked. On all the stuff I've seen online, it's always overlooked. And that is your 7-step building a business. And the thing is, the reason why this is such a big deal is because if you can't figure this out, then your only option is the 9 to 5, where you're literally selling your most valuable resource, your time, for bottom dollar less than the living wage. And if you've studied economics, that just makes no fucking sense. But with a business entrepreneurship, not only are you in charge and in full control, but you also are like accumulating all of the profits, and you're the one making all the decisions, and you're the one who gets to determine pretty much everything. And you are suddenly very self-sufficient, and you don't need anyone else telling you what you should or shouldn't do. It is total and complete freedom. And here's the other thing. is as you grow, every time people hit that fifth perspective, every time you hit the fifth perspective, you want to open a business. Everybody who hits the fifth perspective says the same thing. I want to be a business owner. Every one of us. It is a natural stage of growth. Eventually, everyone is going to outgrow the 9 to 5. Now, as people are born into the world and they slip right into the 9 to 5, that's going to keep it going. But to be honest with you, the robots are probably going to replace all of that shit. Really. And that is where we are heading, is the robots are going to do the 9 to 5 jobs that everyone hates. Well, the people go off to do the entrepreneurships and the CEO stuff. But all the material that's out there is absolute disorganized. So when something is hard, it's because it's unorganized, or you're learning it out of order. And we see this all the time with math. Math is a great example. Math never lets me down. You're in math class and you get to a part that's hard. It's hard because the teacher's incompetent, because she skipped a step in your comprehension and you're missing this really important logical piece, and she's got you over here now. And you're going, I don't understand. And you're trying to do this that you don't understand, but you don't have this solid because she moved on too fast, or she failed to teach, or she failed to notice. And when she sees that you're struggling, she might say something like, "Oh, come on, it's easy." Well, no, you're an incompetent teacher. I say to my daughter all the time, when my daughter comes home with grades, she's like, "These are my grades." And I say, "Oh, I see your teachers graded themselves again." Because grades of a child reflect the teacher's competence in teaching. They don't actually reflect the child's skill at all. We all know this. Grades do not reflect a child's knowledge or skills, but they do reflect a teacher's ability to teach. So it's really, I laugh every time I see grades. I laugh my butt off because I'm like, okay, so this tells me how good or how bad your teachers can teach. Because when a teacher's really fucking good at teaching, they motivate you, they inspire you, and you do a really fucking good job in their class. And you do it in the proper learning order because they have their shit together. But the really bad teachers don't inspire. You hate their class because they don't know how to make you enjoy the subject. They don't know how to inspire or motivate you. And they're teaching it in such a way that you've turned off. One of my favorite things that I hear from my daughter is, "The class is so boring, I put my head down on the table." And then the teacher will scream at her, "I want eye contact. I want this. I want," and it's like, okay, so you're literally running the entire classroom like a dictator. Where it's, "I want all of these stipulations right." And she really is. She's one of those old schools where no one can chew gum and you've got to pay attention. You got to eyes right on her. And I think about Shakespeare in the Globe Theater. If he did not entertain, if he did not teach proper, if he could not grasp the audience's attention, there was no audience. They hackled him. So it was one of the challenges that he had to do as a teacher, as in theater, is you have to grasp and hold the attention and entertain. And if you can't do that, you failed. And teachers are no different. Teachers are actors. And either they can entertain and make the subject interesting, or they can't. One of my favorite, I had 2 teachers, my history teacher, Mr. Brooks, and my English teacher, Mrs. Brooks. They were married. And every time we did Romeo and Juliet, any kind of Shakespeare, we got a full performance. It was wonderful. Like, she would be in the middle of teaching Shakespeare. Her husband would come in and suddenly they would start quoting Shakespeare and do this really mocked bad interpretation of Shakespeare. And it was the most entertaining class, by the way. She was also the drama teacher. So it was like this real Shakespeare coming to life while we watched our history and our English teacher perform. And that was something that they did with Plato. That's something Plato and Aristotle did in the University of Alexandria, which is why you had to study stage theater, writing, poetry. It's because teachers had to be actors. They had to know how to step in and entertain and grasp and deliver through teaching. It was 100% engaged entertainment. And if you are not engaging an audience and entertaining them, you failed. And that's it each and every time. So it's really interesting to see when we look at a school atmosphere. They've turned it into this gray dungeon-like prison where they watch the clocks, because it's like it's literally punching the clock. It's a living nightmare. My daughter once asked me, "Mom, why is it time seems to fly when we're having fun?" Because when you're doing time, you're watching the clock. And it was just like this, you're doing time. And that's it, is, yeah, gray walls, no colors, and you just watch the clock tick by. It's And that's really what the more you look at the way the school systems had turned into, it's literally a little prison for children. Right down to if you don't go, the TRUA offer is gonna come by and arrest you, and it's like or you could make it fun and interesting and actually make school and learning fun so people will want to go. You know you did it right when the teacher is loved so much that the children don't want to graduate from that class. Like, and it's funny because my English teacher, her room was bright, beautiful. She had decorations all over it. And I swear we put the shittiest lighting in our school. Lighting matters. Like same thing with offices. They put the shittiest lighting in offices. And I would when I was working the 9 to 5s, whenever I applied for a job, that was one of the things I looked for is what's the lighting. If the lighting was shit, I didn't care how much money. It was like an absolute no. The lighting here is shit. I'm all done with this place. So it's because you're putting in like 55, 60 hours a week in a place where you're just going to walk away with severe depression because, well, for many reasons. But all right. I think I have my new direction. Thank you so much. And may the kindest of words always find you.